I just started my eBay store over from zero. I deleted all the listings that I had in my store and I only relisted some of them. We're going to talk about that, talk about 3 things that I'm changing in my eBay business for 2026 that I've not done in past years. Then we'll talk about a few items that I've sold throughout the week. I'll let you know what I paid for them, where I bought them, and how much I sold them for, and how much profit I made on each of the items. But if it is our first time meeting, my name is Brian, and I've been selling on eBay for about 7.5 years. I go to garage sales, estate sales, thrift stores, and I pick up items to flip on eBay for a profit. Before we get into all of that, I want to thank the sponsor of today's video, MUNBYN. I've been using a MUNBYN thermal printer for over a year now, and it's been a game changer in my reselling business. I used to print labels on a desktop inkjet printer, and there really is no comparison to the two. With the new MUNBYN 405B printer, it takes my reselling business and my printing game to a whole new level. There are several different types of labels that you can use with it, including the new dual color labels that MUNBYN uses advanced algorithms and special dual layer paper to produce. They have a replaceable printer head, which you can just snap off in just a few seconds. It extends the life of the overall printer. They also have an integrated label holder, which guarantees perfect alignment for all of your labels, so you don't have that side-to-side deviation of labels sliding around and getting cockeyed or crooked or printing out weird. As a bonus, MUNBYN has provided a promotion code, so if you go to the Amazon link down below, you can save 12% on your MUNBYN printer using code 12MUN405B, and it gets your printer down to $149.58 on Amazon. You can also follow the link down there and scroll through and take a look at all the different labels they have. They have a huge variety of labels for you to choose from. Thank you again to MUNBYN for sponsoring this video. So to start fresh in 2026, I did go in and delete every listing that I had in my eBay store. I was completely offline for about 30 to 45 minutes until I started going through my listings. There were some items I didn't relist at all. They're just going to go in a box and go to Goodwill. Then there are plenty of items I went through, probably about 50% of my inventory, and I updated prices based on the fact that the prices that I've seen are too high. I fell into the my inventory is great inventory trap, and I priced items because I thought I had the best inventory. And in reality, that's not what the market is looking for. So I adjusted prices on a lot of items, not lowballing prices, but adjusting them to the market value. Then I got everything relisted, and now it's time to take 3 things that I'm doing in my store that I'm going to be applying. I already applied some of it to the items I have, and then I'm going to be applying this to new items that get listed in my store going forward. The first one is delisting and relisting all of my items every 30 days. I won't necessarily delist and relist my entire store. I'm using Flipwise to do this. I utilize Flipwise. I have a subscription. I love it. If you don't know anything about Flipwise, I will put a link down below, but go check it out on Justin Resell's channel. He's the co-creator of Flipwise, and it is an amazing piece of software to use in your reselling business. He created a feature on there to delist and relist your items just before eBay is about to do it each month. And because the way eBay was doing it is they're not creating a whole unique new item. When Flipwise does it, they're doing like a delist sell similar type action where it's creating a new item, so you're getting more higher ranking in search, and it's showing up like a new item in your store each month. So I've got my items all set up to delist and relist every 30 days, just before eBay would do it, so that I'm always getting fresh action in my store. Then with the announcement from eBay about their new promotional strategy, where instead of buyers clicking on an item that was promoted and then going back and maybe buying it later and not on the promoted link, but you're still paying the promoted price, there was some sort of correlation there you could see a direct correlation. Now they have this weird, like, I don't know what they call it, a halo effect or something, where if anybody clicks on the promoted link and then somebody else who didn't click on the promoted link anywhere buys that item, you still pay the promotional fee. And their thing is, they're saying that when people click on a promoted listing, it can, not will, can, words are very important here, lead to higher rank in searches because people have been looking at your promoted listing. Doesn't guarantee that it's getting ranked higher. It says it can assist in it getting ranked higher, which is why they're going to take the promoted fee. So I left the listings I have right now promoted, but new listings going forward, I'm using another new Flipwise feature. When this came out, Justin and his co-creator went to work and came up with a really cool option you can not promote your items. So my items are not going to be promoted for the first 30 days they're live. I have the opportunity to pick up great inventory and sell it at full price and keep more money in my pocket. And then the first time it gets relisted, then it'll get promoted. And you can pick how much you want the promotion to be. Personally, I picked 5%. And that may sound rich for some people, but in my mind, I'd rather get it ranked higher at that point and, get the items moving after 30 days. So a whole new promotional strategy. It is quite a bit different than what I was doing. I was doing variations in discounts and promotional discounts and that sort of thing. I'm going to go 5% across the board, and I'm doing that for all items, brand new items, after 30 days. And then the third thing is something that probably everybody should do, is pay much better attention to items whenever you're purchasing them and looking at the comps. Some people don't like comping or really understand it. I'm pretty fast at it now. So whenever I'm in the thrift store, I'm not doing like to the 1% calculation in my head, but I am looking at, I scroll through real quick and I'll see it says, if I'm scanning this mug and it says, well, here's a good example. Scanning this guitar, and it's $8.79. I'm trying to figure out if that's worth it, and I look and see that there were 154 actives of that same item, and then there was 174 sold. I'm like, 100%, I'm buying that. And the profit's not going to be amazing. It's probably going to be about $20-25, but it's it's going to be probably going to sell within 30 days or less. So, but my goal is going to be to not buy things that don't have at least a 50% sell-through rate. Is that going to be perfect? Probably not. But that's where I'm starting at, is not buying items with less than a 50% sell-through rate, because it just is not a good investment. It's not a good return on my capital. I want the money to come in so I can reinvest in more inventory and keep my store going and growing and making more money. So that's going to be my new strategy, is looking at, and for everybody that may not know, a 50% sell-through rate or demand rate, what that looks like is, if you look on eBay and you scan, we'll just say again, this coffee cup, if there are 100 of these available for sale, and then you click on sold and you look at how many have sold, if there are 50 that have sold in the last 90 days, that's how eBay looks at it, that is a 50% sell-through rate over 90 days. So if there were only 20 of them sold, that'd be a 20% sell-through rate, and I wouldn't buy that cup. And then you also have to look at what the cup costs versus how much it's selling for, and is it a good return on your money. So those are the three things. I'm changing to make sure that it's auto delisting and relisting every 30 days. I'm only promoting items, new inventory, after 30 days to put more money in my pocket for the items that sell in the first 30 days. And I'm not buying items unless they have at least a 50% sell-through rate. Now let's get to the fun stuff and take a look at a few items that I've sold this week. I say fun stuff. I don't know if everybody's going to like them. They're not amazingly cool items, but I I sold them, so I like them. First item that I picked up was this vintage, like 1970s meat carving board with the spikes on it to hold your meat in place while you're carving it up. I picked this up at a local independently owned thrift store for $8.80, and it took a while. I've had it for about 6 or 7 months, but finally sold it for full price, $29.89 plus shipping, and was able to make a pre-tax profit of $14.41 on that meat carving board. The next item that sold is this sport tube. This is the first model. They're in like version 3 now. I've done a couple short videos about it. I did one whenever I bought it, and then I just did one the other day because I made not great profit on it. But I paid $26.40 for it, which is a lot at Goodwill, thinking I was going to sell it for about 85 bucks. I've had it for 9 months, and I've sent so many offers and was just not able to get it sold. So finally, somebody sent me a lowball offer the other day for $35. And I was looking at the shipping and my costs and the fees, and I was like, you know what? I may even lose a little bit of money, but I'm going to get this thing out of here. And luckily, I was able to claw back a little bit because I made some money on the shipping and made an $8.58 pre-tax profit. So $8.58 in profit for that kind of investment over 9 months is not a good deal. That is for sure. Then we sold some shirts. Have 3 sales back to back to back that were all shirts. The first one was this Duluth trading company. They do have some value if you get the right pieces. The pieces I had here were okay, but they were all 2XL size. The first shirt, I probably paid a little bit too much for them also. I'll say that because I bought them at Goodwill. The first one I sold, it was just one shirt, paid $7.33 for it. Sold it on an offer that somebody sent me for $12 plus shipping. And because of the low price, I only ended up making 17 cents. I essentially got my money back on that one. And now I know that I can't pay $7.33 for regular shirts. I need like better, heavier items from Duluth if I'm going to be paying $7.33 for them. So 17 cents on that shirt, but I got it out the door. I have my money back, and now I can go buy some new inventory with it. The next sale after that was also Duluth Trading Company. Same size shirts, different buyer, but it was a 2-pack. It was the same, like Kennesaw, I think, was the brand or style name for these 2 shirts. Since they were the same size, same style, I sold them together, so I paid $14.66 for the pair. Sold them for $25 plus shipping for an $8.93 pre-tax profit. So a lot better, for sure, profit. Only $12 only 50 cents more per shirt selling price than the previous one, but because I had them bundled and I had my shipping up, it didn't cost much more to ship it. So I made more money that way. And then the third clothing item is this Kuhl, K-U-H-L quarter zip that I picked up for $7.33 at Goodwill and sold it for $15 on an offer. And that was an offer I sent out to a prospective buyer. That one had been sitting around. It had a logo on the shoulder, which made it a little less desirable, even though it's a decent brand. But ended up selling for $15, made a pre-tax profit on that one of $12.34. And then the last item that sold was another Oregon chainsaw accessory. It is a depth gauge with a file to sharpen your chainsaw chain teeth. So I picked up, I think I've got about 40 or 50 of these left. Picked up a whole bunch of them at a garage sale in a big bundle deal I did where I bought 413 pieces for 60 bucks. So I've got 15 cents per piece in each one of these things. Sold it for $8.68. This one's free shipping. I'm selling these free shipping and made $2.29 of pre-tax profit. So I'm into the profit for the entire buy now. Have been for a while, but so I don't mind making the $2.29 in pre-tax profit, even though, you know, it's a low amount. But I took one set of pictures and I think I started selling when I had about 80 or so of them. So not mad about that at all. And that's it. That's a handful of the items that I've sold this week. You You know, sport tube was kind of cool. Meat carving board was kind of cool. The rest of it, I don't know. Clothing, chainsaw accessories, I don't know if people find that stuff cool or not. I think all the stuff I sell is cool because there's such a broad assortment of items, but that's just me. That's it for today's video. If you stuck around this long, I really appreciate it. So far, it's been a good start to 2026. I hope you're having a great start to the year as well. Last thing before we go, if you aren't a reseller, you ought to be. It's awesome. Have a great day.